I landed in Manhattan 2 hours ago. October's air clung to my coat, cool, crisp, mixed with asphalt and roasted chestnuts. I was halfway through loosening my tie when Emily said the words that shattered my world. "I think we should open the marriage." She stood by the stove, pouring oat milk into her coffee, calm as if announcing a yoga class schedule. "Excuse me," I said, stunned. For emotional clarity, she added, as if that softened the blow. I nearly laughed, not from humor, but from the rehearsed feel of it. I set my suitcase down by the island. The kitchen lights buzzed overhead, too sterile, too bright, like a stage. I repeated, "You mean you've been sleeping with someone?" Her hand froze briefly. Then she smiled, that strained, performative smile she used at charity galas. "This isn't about someone, Mark. It's about me. Expansion." I chuckled bitterly, infidelity wrapped in enlightenment. Her eyes, sharp and unapologetic, met mine. "You're emotionally small. I feel like I'm shrinking around you." Her words hit like a shovel to the chest. I looked around our ultramodern home. Floor-to-ceiling windows, perfect furniture, a life we built together. And it felt like a showroom for someone else's existence. "You rehearsed that line," I said quietly. She flared. "I didn't bring it up sooner because you'd make it ugly." "No, Emily," I said. "You made it ugly the moment you turned our marriage into a TD talk." The air was still. The silence stretched until the coffee machine beeped. I didn't yell. I didn't slam anything. I nodded, jaw tight, and walked out. I didn't pack a bag or demand explanations. There was nothing left to unpack. Outside, the city went on. Sirens, traffic. The espresso machine below my apartment still hissed at 7:02 a.m. But inside me, something had already broken. I found a short-term rental, minimalist, cold, perfect for what I needed. Space, silence, clarity. On the third night, I opened Instagram, muscle memory. Emily's story lit up my screen. Champagne on a rooftop, silk dress, captioned "Breathe in freedom, exhale the past, #independent, queen #new energy." Another post, laughing with strangers, letting go never looked so good. #self-first, #unapologetic. Her friends reposted her selfies with commentary. "Takes a strong woman to rise above a controlling man. Cheers to your rebirth. Controlling." I had barely raised my voice in 7 years. Dean, my closest friend, sent me a screenshot. "She's really doing this publicly, huh?" She wasn't hiding. She was performing. I set my phone down, letting the dull clatter echo. The worst part wasn't what she said, but how easy it was for people to believe her curated narrative. Likes, hearts, flames, people applauding her growth, and I said nothing. Silence doesn't protect you once you're made the villain. It sharpens the contrast. By Friday, even my boss asked casually about my home life. I nodded. Fine. Inside, a slow burn had started. You don't erase someone just because it makes for a cleaner aesthetic. You don't weaponize freedom while dragging someone else through the digital mud. I realized she was performing, and I was done being her backdrop. Emily walked into my minimalist apartment like nothing happened, smooth heels clicking, perfectly made up. She tried to normalize the chaos she'd created. "Hey, I figured we could talk." I didn't stand, phone in hand, still half, scrolling her story. "He lost me when he thought he owned me." "What exactly are we talking about?" I asked. She claimed the posts were part of a women's empowerment challenge. I laughed dryly. "Humiliating your husband online is a challenge now. You said we needed emotional clarity." I said, "But all I see is someone craving applause more than growth." Her composure cracked. I didn't threaten or yell. I simply said, "You're going to leave this apartment tonight." She protested, small, soft, flustered. "Wait, Mark, you don't live here anymore. Not in this apartment, not in my space, not in my image." I gathered her things, handed her tote bag back with quiet precision, and opened the door. For a moment she froze, flushed with embarrassment. Then, quietly, she walked out. The next morning, she came back cautiously, casual in leggings and a cardigan, acting as if nothing had changed. She asked about a wedding next weekend. "Still, I'm going," I said calmly, "but not with you." She tried to argue. "Mark, come on, that's childish. We've been invited as a couple." We aren't a couple, you made sure of that, I said. Her eyes widened. She tried to frame it as revenge. I corrected. Clarity, the very thing she claimed she wanted. Dean's loft became my refuge, aged wood, bourbon quiet. He handed me a card for Maya Collins, a discreet attorney who doesn't blink at drama. Preparation became my armor. I changed passwords, separated finances, organized investments, secured every trace of my life. Not revenge, protection. The proof arrived. Emily kissing another man, confident, familiar, intimate. Audio fuzzy, but visual enough. I encrypted, backed up, documented meticulously. Her messages went unanswered. She started feeling the shift, not from confrontation, but from my silence. The Brooklyn Cafe smelled of over-roasted coffee and warm wood. I arrived 10 minutes late, deliberately, walking with the kind of quiet confidence someone who had finally reclaimed themselves carries. Dark denim, charcoal blazer, posture straight. Emily was already there, seated by the window, fidgeting with a spoon, her hair curled too carefully, lips painted red in a shade she hadn't worn since our early dating days. She looked up, startled, like she hadn't expected to see me so composed, so calm. "Hey," she said, a little too cheerfully. "I am," I replied, sliding into the seat across from her, phone in hand, casual, deliberate. She offered a glass of water, an olive branch of misplaced nostalgia. I let the silence stretch, letting her fidget, letting her realize the shift in our dynamic. There's been some confusion about the utilities, joint account. She started, twisting a ring she wasn't wearing when we met. She searched my eyes for recognition, for familiarity, for some spark of the man she used to know. She found none. "I've separated everything," I said plainly. Banking, credit cards, health coverage, everything tied to me was now mine alone. She blinked, confusion twisting her face. "So you just cut me off?" she asked, almost whispering. "No, I simply stopped sponsoring your narrative," I said. Her face twisted not in anger, but in the bafflement of realizing that the script she'd rehearsed no longer existed. "You're cruel," she said, a sharp edge of accusation softened by disbelief. "You didn't seem worried about cruelty when you were hashtagging our breakup," I replied. Calm, measured, every word precise. Her lip trembled. "I thought maybe we could eventually find our way back," she said. "You're not used to consequences, Emily," I said. "You're used to performance, playing victim with just enough charm to stay the heroine of your story." Her composure cracked, her favorite stance of hands on, hips, eyes sharp, faltering. I stood, silent but firm. I opened the door. Outside, the autumn wind cut through the street, leaves skittering across the sidewalk like applause, fading after the final scene. She didn't follow, she didn't protest. She hesitated, glanced at me once, and then, quietly, turned back inside, leaving the doorway empty but charged with finality. The next week, I posted a picture of myself at a gallery gala, Sienna at my side. No hashtags, no captions, no statement, just presence. Sienna, calm, composed in deep green, not a prop, not a message, just someone real and steady. The post circulated quietly, noticed by just enough people. Emily reacted rapid fire messages. "Seriously, you're flaunting some girl now. You're such a narcissist, and you think this makes you the good guy." I felt nothing. Peace, I locked her out, not to punish, not to make a statement, but to make clear that the line between our lives was closed. Then the legal complaint arrived. Emily had retained counsel, accusing me of emotional neglect, withholding resources, and psychological cruelty, all written with passive aggression but designed to wound. I forwarded everything to Maya Collins, my attorney, meticulously organized. Screenshots, timelines, DMs, videos, blocked messages, every digital trace of her performance. Preparation became my armor. Silence became my weapon. While she cried to old friends about my supposed coldness, I had documentation, evidence, clarity. The court rewards facts, not dramatics. And in 6 weeks, I had nothing but preparation and patience. Courtroom day, fluorescent lights hummed. The room was sterile, waiting stretching longer than speaking. Emily perched in her seat, muted dress, minimal jewelry, trying to sell sincerity. Her attorney presented narrative, emotion, carefully worded sympathy, phrases like withholding affection, and systematic gaslighting, screenshots, out of context messages, snippets of history, sliced to look damning. Then Maya stood, calm, precise, surgical, timelines, full messages, timestamps, video, voice notes. She didn't raise her voice, didn't argue, just fact after fact. The video of Emily kissing another man, intimate, clear, played once. Silence, gasps from the gallery. Maya paused. This case isn't about punishing someone for leaving a marriage. It's about truth and accountability. The judge turned to me. Mr. Walker, would you like to make a statement? I stood, no notes, steady voice. I didn't come here to destroy anyone, not even the person who turned me into a storyline. I came to protect what I built, my name, my work, my peace. Emily's eyes were glassy, jaw tight. Her attorney tried to recover, reframing, appealing to emotion, but the momentum had shifted. No longer the wounded voice of empowerment, she was simply performing, and no one applauded. The judge recessed the court quietly. No ruling yet, but I already won what mattered most: clarity, dignity, closure. Emily sat small, not diminished by me, but by the spotlight she'd chased until it burned out. The wedding arrived. An old stone estate north of the city. Linen suits, string lights, laughter drifting into dusk. Jordan and Lacey, our mutual friends, were mine again. I arrived just before the ceremony with Sienna. Her hand rested lightly on my arm. Deep green dress, elegant, quiet. She didn't announce herself, but her presence was undeniable. Heads turned, whispered compliments. Emily was already there. Pale blue dress, too carefully chosen, alone, holding her drink too tightly. She saw me. Disbelief flashed across her face, the realization that she no longer commanded the entrance, the attention, the narrative. I didn't approach her. Sienna and I took our seats. Vows exchanged. Laughter drifted through the garden. Music rose. Sienna's hand slipped between mine. Later, Emily approached the fountain, attempting casual conversation. Mark, saw you across the lawn, she said. You look different. She added, quickly, a little too sharply. I know, I replied evenly. That's your girlfriend, Sienna. I clarified. She's beautiful. Emily admitted too quickly. Thank you, I said, letting silence stretch. No judgment, no applause, just presence. You always needed an audience, I said. Truth, her smile vanished. I wasn't trying to hurt you. She whispered, you wanted attention, and when I stopped clapping, you made me the villain, I said. She looked down, twisting her napkin. I interrupted calmly. We can't come back from what was broken. Trust, respect, all of it. It's gone. Her attempt at humor fell flat. God, you sound like a TD talk, she muttered. I smiled faintly. You used to love those. The night continued. Music, laughter, warmth, real connection filling the air. Emily didn't belong anymore. She knew it. She looked at me, not angry, not bitter, but aching. I do miss you, she whispered. I nodded once. Calm, clear, final. You lost more than a man. Her breath caught. Her face cracked. She opened her mouth, maybe to protest, maybe to plead, but I walked away, back into the laughter, the light, the life that wasn't hers anymore. Sienna smiled as I returned, handing me champagne. Everything okay? She asked. Perfect, I said. And for the first time in a long, long time, it was true.